Brandon Woodruff, his first game action since September of 2023. How do you do? That and more coming up next here on Locked On Brewers.
You are Locked On Brewers, your daily Milwaukee Brewers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Man, can you believe it? The countdown is on. The countdown is on to opening day, and the Brewers opening up on the 27th against the Yankees. And man, it is going fast. God, it just seemed like a little while ago. I was like, God, we got 6 weeks of these spring training games. But man, we're getting right down here the final couple of weeks. Good to have you along. Chuck Freeman, Locked On Brewers, part of Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. Brandon Woodruff, 25 pitches in a game where a minor league game, handful of people there, teammates on hand, front office on hand as well. His first bit of game action since September 23rd of 2023. First bit of game action. He's been throwing the live hitting. He's had 4 different sessions. So how do you do on Tuesday? Well, you decide. 25 pitches, 3 runs, 3 hits, a home run, a double. Sounds like he got squeezed on a couple of calls, but he ramped it up to 94 miles an hour, 92 on the assimilated games there, but he's up to 94, and that was Brandon Woodruff. And I look at it like this. Most importantly, he comes in and out of that injury-free. Now, I know some people might look at, well, he gave a home run and he gave him a double, 3 hits and 3 runs. Don't look at it like that. No, don't look at rehab starts. If you based everything on a rehab start, you'd have nobody coming back from rehab. So he's going to pitch in a Cactus League game next, and that'll be on Sunday. He's going to pitch 1 inning in a Cactus League game for the Brewers. I believe they're playing Cleveland that day. So, but that's where Brandon Woodruff, I saw the video. The video looked great. And, he's going to continue to rehab and do everything he needs to do. He was going to get treatment after his workout today. But Brandon Woodruff, 25 pitches. And I would say step in the right direction. Step in the right direction. He struck out the leadoff hitter in this game. But, I'm not expecting Woodruff to go out there and throw BBs 9 up, 9 down or anything like that. Gave a home run, gave him a double, and threw 25 pitches. So we'll see how he is in the next outing. I'm looking forward to the Cactus League outing next Sunday when he pitches an inning. But again, I look at it mostly, he's 94 miles an hour so far and ramping it up with each and every outing, it seems, that he gets to suit up and throw. And looking forward to Sunday, like I said. So that's Brandon Woodruff. Again, don't look at it like 3 runs, 3 hits, 25 pitches. No, I look at it like he's healthy, 94, 32 years old, coming back from the shoulder injury, hasn't pitched since 2023. And he's doing some good things out there. Good for him. All right, elsewhere. The Brewers have some tough decisions to make. I think Jacob Misiorowski's making one decision fairly easy. He's just not ready for major league action just yet. He's got to get that control under control because that's what his problem. You saw him pitch on Sunday. He was all over the map. He could throw 100, but if he's not getting his other pitches over for strikes and he's got no command, that doesn't do you any good. Pat Murphy even said after the game, he said, it doesn't do you any good to throw 100. Hitters can hit 104. You got to be able to get these other pitches over for strikes. And he thought that Miz might have been a little nervous out there. He went an inning and 2/3, 3 hits, 4 runs, 4 earned, 4 Ks on 30 pitches. Would you trust Misiorowski in a major league game right now, in a close game, anything other than a blowout? The answer is probably no on that. The answer is probably no on that right now. I'm not saying they can't trust him down the road, but Miz was Not good, the trust. And as a manager, you got to have trust in those guys. And I know sometimes guys on the bullpen, the Brewers put guys in there, and you're like, oh boy, you're watching from over the coffee table because you're worried about him. And I feel that way about the Miz right now. So the Miz got to get the command, got to get his other pitchers over for strikes, hitting the corners. You just can't go out there and throw 100 and throw a fastball every time. So I think the Miz is not going to make the team. He will be down. I think he'll be down at AAA. Oliver Dunn. Oliver Dunn is going to make this team. I think it's quite clear right now that and what's a locked on episode without talking about the third base spot. Oliver Dunn had another nice day. 397 he's batting. I was going to say Capra hit the home run today, but Oliver Dunn and Caleb Durbin, I think you will for sure be your platoon over at third base. Unless there's an injury, unless the Brewers go out and make a trade, we all know that's not going to happen. Oliver Dunn and Durbin, your lefty-righty combination, platooning third base. Kind of like old schoolers like you'll remember the Don Money, Roy Howell platoon over at third base back in the day. So, Capra, I get asked a lot if Capra's going to make this team. He's doing everything possible to put himself in command. Yeah, the spring training numbers may not mean a lot for Yelich and some of the veterans on this team, okay? But a guy like Vinny Capra, it does. He hit another home run. And I think, in the story of him, as you know, if Capra does not make the team, the Brewers would have to release him or trade him. So, and you can't trade him because if you're trying to trade him, the rest of baseball knows that you're trying to trade him because you're going to release him. You're trying to get something for him. So Capra, who's got no minor league options left, been down this road with guys like this before and been excited because they've been Mr. February, as I call them. But I don't think Vinny Capra makes this team. I think it's going to be a tough decision, but I do think he will have a job. I think he's earned himself a job with one of the other 29 teams in baseball, but it won't be the Milwaukee Brewers. He's definitely earned himself a spot on a roster somewhere. It's just not going to be with the Milwaukee Brewers. Rhys Hoskins was asked today, Rhys Hoskins, where do you want Rhys Hoskins to bat in your batting order? Anywhere from 4th through 6th. He had another dinger today. So in 8 games, Hoskins has got 5 home runs. Save some of those big boys for the big show coming up later on this month. Just kidding. Keep hitting away. Rhys Hoskins finding his groove down there at AAA. Great. Hoskins right now, I'd put him at the 4 hole, 4, 5, 6 hole, depending on where it is. To be honest, my leadoff hitter, I want Bryce Terang to lead off for me. I mentioned I gave a lineup about 3 weeks ago. My projected starting lineup. I want Terang to lead off, Churio in the 3 hole, Contreras in the 2, and I would put Hoskins right now as my 4th hitter with Yelich in the 5 hole. I'd put Yelich in the 5 hole, Hoskins in the 4th. I'd start him out in the 4 hole, see how he does. But I bet you that's not going to be the case. Adames was the 4 hitter last year. By default, he's not your traditional 4 hitter, but Hoskins, he'll be in one of those power spots. There's no doubt about it. A couple of times last year, Hoskins was in the 3 hole against left-handers who he had good numbers against. Nick Mears has been sick out of the bullpen. A guy who the Brewers traded for with Colorado last year, who they really like and want him to be a part of the bullpen, but we've not talked much about Nick because he's been sick. So hopefully, Nick, I don't know what he's got. I just know he's been sick. Whatever he has, hopefully he's able to get his strength back and be a part of this bullpen because the Brewers are high in him, and if the Brewers are high in him, why shouldn't we? But Nick Mears is someone we haven't talked much about because he hasn't, quite frankly, hasn't been playing because of his sickness. So we come back. You guys have sent some questions in. We do this once a week. You guys send some questions in, and I'll have some answers for you. We'll get to that coming up next here on Locked On Brewers. Locked On Brewers, part of Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. And March Madness is here. FanDuel is giving you a chance to get in all the action like never before. I talk about live betting, making live plays. March Madness is where it is, because maybe there's like a high seed that's trailing 5 minutes to go. Maybe you think that they're going to get picked off, because that's the craziness of March Madness. Maybe that's the craziness of it, and you like that favorite to get picked off. Anyway, whether you like the favorite or the dog, get into the action. Live betting at FanDuel. And right now, get this from FanDuel. New customers get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. $200 extra bucks to use on anything, from buzzer beaters to Cinderella stories to even who's going to cut down the nets. You might be able to get UConn at some good numbers these days. They haven't had a year like they did last year, but maybe you like UConn to do it again. Well, whether you like the favorites, the dogs, or whatever, visit FanDuel.com. Get on all the college hoops action all tournament long, with the conference tournaments going on right now and going right through March Madness. But again, new customers, $200 in bonus bets when you win your first $5 bet with FanDuel. Chuck Freeman here on Locked On Brewers, part of Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. By the way, our podcast, you get it on Google, Spotify, Apple, wherever you download your podcast. We're the #1 Brewers podcast on the internet, not because of me, because of you guys, because of you great Brewers fans out there downloading us and going to us and making us your first listen to every day. So go to all those audio platforms, and if you subscribe to one of those, and the content is all free, please go to our growing YouTube page, search Locked On Brewers, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. That'll alert you every time we drop an episode on Locked On Brewers. You got a question for me? I'll always answer you. Chuck Freeman, Chuck F-R-E-I-M-U-N-D. Hit me up on Twitter, and we'll get you going. We'll get an answer for you, for sure. There's no doubt. I always 100% get back to everybody on Twitter. Might take me a little bit. I'm not saying like 2 days, but if you put something on there in the morning, might take me a couple of hours, but I will get back to you. Here are some of the things, burning questions that fans have got out there. David says Yoho needs to be given an opportunity, either as a starter. His arm looks too good to be wasted in a bullpen. His fastball changeup combo is worth a shot. Well, 6 innings, hasn't given up a run yet in spring training. I think Yoho makes the team. I said this in yesterday's podcast. Yoho is going to make this team fast riser in this organization. I don't think he'll be a starter. Maybe one day, who knows, but I think he'll start off in the bullpen. I believe he'll make this team. I'd be stunned. Stranger things have happened, but I think Yoho's got a real good shot. Why wouldn't that bender, that changeup? How can you not keep him? I mean, how can you not put him on this roster? How could you not? Andy says, good to see Dunn, highly regarded by management. He's got a good stroke. Forgot about Yelly here. I predict he will have an awesome year as well, and hoping he'll get a fair amount of playing time. Yeah, Yelly got a fair amount of playing time, and so will right now Oliver Dunn. Oliver Dunn's going to be a third baseman. He's going to get playing time as long as he's producing. But if he's coming out there and striking out and hitting 167, Oliver Dunn is going to be back to AAA. All right, and they'll find other options. I do feel Oliver Dunn and Monasterio and even Durbin are keeping the seat warm for Cooper Pratt. I do think that's the long-term solution, and that might be very well why the Brewers didn't go out there and do anything, at least long-term, over at third base. And again, maybe at the trading deadline, if they're fortunate enough to be involved. But I think they're going to massage things with those two guys over at third base. And if Capra makes it, he's going to be over there too. But you can't have like 15 third basemen. I think Monasterio for sure makes this team. He's got an option, but I think he'll make this team. He's another guy highly regarded on this team, a guy who will go out, and if he's got to sit for a week, he comes out there and still plays you good defense. Not great defense, not gold glove defense, but he'll be serviceable. I do have some questions about his defense over at third base, though. But He'll give you some good at-bats, and he will never complain about not playing time. Good teammate, great teammate. Brewers have a lot of those kind of guys. James says, Oliver Dunn, I see him as a role player. Hope I'm wrong. Yeah, I don't see Oliver Dunn as an everyday player, but he's going to be on this team, and he's going to be an everyday player as long as he produces. At least against right-handed pitching, he's going to be a everyday player. But I don't see he's getting another opportunity. Again, he had a little injury issue last year, struck out a lot looking. But Oliver Dunn, as long as he produces, he's going to be in this lineup against left-handers. Let's see here. James says, Chuck, I hope by June or July we get Wilkins at third base. He's the slugger that we need. Third base is either going to be Wilkins or Pratt. Just a question of when he's, well, either one of those guys. I like Pratt, though. I really like, from what I see, and of course, you go to YouTube and you see Cooper Pratt highlights. I've been on Cooper Pratt all season, but I don't think he's going to be up this year. And Ryan says, neither Wilkin or Pratt are ready to go. Wilkin wasn't very good last year when he was healthy. Pratt may start the year in Biloxi, but I don't see him rush to the minors. I don't see either one of those guys make it into the majors this year. I don't. Maybe in September, but I don't. PNJ says, that home run by Alonso in the third game last year doesn't happen if there's not the picnic area, short porch and right field. Frelick camps under it, run scores, sacrifice fly and 2 outs, runner on first, up 3-2. Get rid of that thing. Well, yeah, that short porch has helped the Brewers too. You got to remember that. Yeah, I wasn't a big fan when they added that area up because I was like, man, that already makes a short porch in right field even shorter. They're not going to get rid of that area, but I was waiting for somebody to complain about that. Yeah, that short porch is in there, Alonso. That's an F9. Yeah, can't look at it because the Brewers have had plenty of home runs go just into that bullpen over there. Jimmy says, I hope I'm wrong, but I have the Reds winning 89 games. I have the Reds winning 89 games. The Brewers 88, the Cubs 87. That's going to be a 3-way race right there. The heck of a race. Francona is a great manager. Of course, he's the manager of the Reds. David Bell is terrible. If we get Woodruff or Pratt, if they could play in 2025, that might be the cat. We might not get Pratt to 2026, though. 2026. His future infielder, he's got, Jimmy does, Pratt third, Ortiz at short, Turang at second, Wilkins at first. I still see rumblings about Wilkins, about up the middle, Ortiz playing some third. I'm telling you, I don't want Turang moving out of second base. I don't know where that's coming from, but Turang has got to play second base. And we got to keep Ortiz at third. Ghost Runner says, I'm trying hard not to be negative about Ashby, but I don't know, man. Oh, I hear you. David adds he's injury prone. He sure is. He is. $22 million. They paid him. They haven't gotten much dividends out of that so far right now. He's mostly been hurt for the last couple of years. And when he's gotten in there, well, he's hurt right now, but when he's gotten in there, other than in the bullpen, he has not done anything in the starter's role. All right, when we come back, lost my notes here for a second. Here we go. When we come back, somebody celebrated a birthday on Tuesday, and a milestone birthday. And the Brewers on free TV, that and more coming up next here on Locked On Brewers. Locked On Brewers, part of Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. Great to have Supply House again as one of our sponsors here on Locked On Brewers. Get the supplies you need from the site that's made for the skilled trades, Supply House. Whether you're plumbing, HVAC, electrical work, Supply House is the reliable way to order products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources, the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Inventory of over 200,000 parts, 400 plus top brands. You'll find exactly what you need, delivered fast from coast to coast. You need help with an order? Supply House offers expert support and industry-leading service, so you'll always be able to talk to a real person. And for the trade pros out there, if you're looking for that extra edge, their free Trade Master program offers exclusive perks, a dedicated phone line, free shipping, discounts in every order. That's for thousands of skilled professionals out there already taking advantage. So join the Trade Master program today, supplyhouse.com/TM. That's supplyhouse.com/TM. Start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, use that promo code SH5 for 5%. SH5 for 5% off your order. That's supplyhouse.com. Chuck Freeman here on Locked On Brewers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. Man, it took Churiel. I feel like it took Churiel about a half a year to get to 21. Wasn't he just 18? He's 21 already. And Freddie Peralta, who's always in a good mood, dressed up the locker for Churiel today, put a big plastic bottle of beer in front of his locker, showing that, one of those blow up that you see maybe at a liquor store. He put one of those in front of his locker to signify that Churiel is 21. And they won't have to have the non-alcoholic beverages in front of his locker if they clinch another postseason. So his locker was all dressed up today, and it was pretty funny. And it was all done by Freddie Peralta, always being a leader on this team and always doing great things to keep the team chemistry going on that team. The big announcement today didn't happen on the field. The big story I thought was Woodruff, but what happened today was the Brewers this morning said they are going to be offering a package of games on free TV on games around the state. I didn't see the Green Bay Fox Valley area included in this, although the Milwaukee TV station, Channel 6, does get up to the lower part of the Fox Valley in Green Bay. But they're going to be showing a package of Tuesday games, 3 spring training games, opening day on free TV. As you know, it's already on the FanDuel network, and they're offering it on the FanDuel network. And for those who might have cut the cord or they have the antenna and all that, and it's drawing rave reviews out there. And of course, some fans though are just saying, "Man, only 10 games. We're only doing 10 games." I think we're going to see this happen more. But good for those who cut the cord and don't want to pay, expensive ways to get that programming. They're going to get Tuesday baseball. 10 games on Tuesdays will be on free TV. Again, that's going to be on stations around the state, all the way up to Superior, Duluth. There's a TV station up there that's going to be carrying it as well. But, and I think we're going to see an expansion of this. The Braves have tried it, and the Brewers did this a few years ago on a local TV station. Of course, when I was growing up as a kid, they were all free. They were all on Channel 24 or Channel 18, and not every game was on TV, though. Not every game was on TV, and that's the thing back then. Not every game was on TV because it was on network TV, and the networks did not want their programming preempted. So this is going to be on Fox 6 in Milwaukee. So Fox 6 must have worked things out with the network and said, "Hey, we're not going to be carrying your programming. We're going to be carrying some of this." So good. Free TV. The Brewers are going to be carrying it, although this might be on one of their digital channels. Who knows? But anyway, it's going to be free. That's what I found out. Free around the state. And I don't think Green Bay is on the hookup. But hey, if you can watch Brewers baseball for free, and if you're a cable, and I get it. I mean, today's society and things are expensive. The growing cost of things, and if you don't have cable TV, this is great for you. Or if you don't have satellite TV, this is great for you because you're going to watch some games, not all, but some. But maybe this is a start to something good. Hey, that's going to do it for Locked On Brewers. Thanks for everybody for making us your first listen to every day. Make Locked On Brewers your second listen every day. Make Locked On MLB your second listen every day. Don't make us your first or second listen. Make Locked On Brewers your first listen. Locked On MLB with my guy Sully. Make him your second listen. He's got all the spring training talk in him. If there's any trade talk or anything like that, he's got it all covered on Locked On MLB. On Locked On Brewers, we got you all covered. Everything Milwaukee Brewers right here, Monday through Friday, right here on Locked On Brewers. Chuck Freeman, Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. Have yourself a great night, everybody.